fundraising and administration for a charity, and spends a lot of time sailing with his school friend Roger Trumpet, who, coincidentally, has the personal hygiene habits of a 19th century serf. "Absolutely," I reassured him. "I'll be doing all the talking. You just have to look patient. You're good at that."
"But what I don't understand is why Jethro Lawton Hunter needs you in the first place," he said, furrowing his brow like a baffled Labrador. "If his girlfriend's so flaky that she can't bear to see him talking to another woman, why doesn't he just tell her to pack it in before he packs her in?"
For all his eligibility, and despite having lived with me for years, Nelson understands women about as much as I understand computer programming. "Because it's not as simple as that."
"It never is," he sighed. "Go on, enlighten me."
Jethro Lawton Hunter brought his own personal cloud of gloom into my office when he arrived for his consultation. Like most of my clients, he'd been sent on a friend's recommendation. Apparently I'd done wonders for his mate George's party chit-chat technique, to the point where he now had 3 girlfriends. Jethro's problem was his girlfriend, Daisy, who was a sweetheart apart from one thing. She went bug-eyed if she saw him talking to another woman.
"It's because of some stupid mix-up at a party," he explained, shredding a tissue. "We were playing that game with the orange, you know, where you pass it along with your chin and, well, you know how things roll down Tilly Chadwick's chest, and then Daisy walked in. It was totally innocent, but you know what some people can be like. She's been like the secret police ever since, convinced I'm eyeing up women every time we go out."
He stuck his hands in his thick black hair.
"She even accused me of flirting with a traffic warden this weekend. I mean, Daisy means the world to me, but nothing I can say makes the slightest difference, and it's driving me nuts."
He raised his eyes to me.
"What can I do?"
I heard that phrase at least 4 times a day. "Don't worry," I said, patting his knee. "There's a very quick way to fix this." So, we're going to have lunch with Jethro and Daisy, who thinks I'm an old schoolmate of Jethro's. Not as me, I added hastily, as Honey. I'm going to give him the full Honey Blennerheskett charm offensive, and Jethro's going to make a big show of being utterly disinterested. I smiled encouragingly. "All you have to do is sit there and give her the impression that you're my boyfriend."
"But I'm not," Nelson pointed out. "If I was being your boyfriend, I'd need a much more expensive suit and a faint air of superiority."
Nelson wasn't all that keen on Jonathan. I put it down to jealousy, plain and simple, combined with the fact that they were, in many ways, quite similar. Their manic attention to detail, for one thing. "You don't have to lie," I said, ignoring the dig. "Just play along."
"Fine," said Nelson. "I'll pretend you use my razor to shave your legs. Oh, hang on, you do."
I gave him a reproachful look. "Listen, I need to get changed, so could you stick the coffee machine on? I could do with a quick cup before we leave." As Nelson inspected my fair trade coffee supplies, I slipped into the spare room to remove Melissa's comfy wide trousers and decant myself into Honey's stockings. My office had once been a little 2-bed flat, and in the old second bedroom I kept my foxy little lady wardrobe of pencil skirts, neat tweed suits, and deep V-neck cardis. I had the sort of unmanageable figure that made high street shopping pure misery, even with my best friend Gabby's encouragement. But somehow my ample bosom and even more ample hips filled Honey's fitted outfits like cream in an eclair, in that things constantly threatened to burst free, but in a good way.
"So what are you going to do to the poor man?" yelled Nelson, as I wriggled into a tight black pencil skirt.
In the beginning, when I was trying to keep my agency a secret, the clothes had been more of a disguise than anything, but since the bombshell uniform seemed to focus both the client's mind and mine on the job in hand, it stayed. There was no way this little plan would work, for instance, if I were just plain old Melissa. Believe me, I was perfectly resistible as Melissa. Oh, you know, the usual Honey stuff. To be honest, I never really planned anything as Honey. It just seemed to come out of its own accord. I buckled a waspy belt around my waist.